Hey, everybody. Good morning and welcome to the Lioness Den. Look, we are so happy that you are here to join us today. Today, we are talking about financial literacy. And if you're out there and you're still trying to figure it out, like many of us are, I want you to get your pens and paper together and just get ready to take some notes on some amazing information coming from our guest today. But before we start, I'm going to slow down a little bit. Let's start to like, share, and tag others in this broadcast. So I do it every time. I don't have my phone today, guys. Guess what? The craziest thing happened. Somebody stole my phone just 2 days ago. Isn't that how it happens? When you have something to do, something always goes awry. So, if you would help me out today by just sharing this broadcast um, with your friends, I'm going to try to share it myself right now. I didn't rig my computer up here so that I can see my pages and I can share from my pages. So that's what I'm going to do. So I rig my computer up here to make sure that I can see everything going on as well. So if you would uh, share this live right now with your friends, with your family, just share because what we want to do is get our audience in here this morning to hear this amazing information that is going out. So I'm doing it. I need you to do it with me. I am sharing it to my page. I'm looking at another screen. So it's not that I'm not paying attention. I'm doing this on purpose. I am sharing this to a few other places so that we can here we go. I'm sharing it there. Right. All right. So I've shared it. I hope you shared it. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get this show on the road. Let's go into the Lioness Den. Hey, everybody, welcome back. Look, I'm excited this morning. I am just meeting this young lady and I'm amazed already. And I know that as you watch, you will also be amazed. And so, without further ado, I would like to introduce uh, to everybody here Miss Jennifer Smith Johnson. Good morning, Jennifer.
Good morning. How are you doing, Lydia?
I am wonderful. As I told you off camera before we went live, I'm so happy to meet you. This is your first time here, and just from our conversation, I know that this is going to be awesome. So, can you introduce yourself to the audience?
Absolutely. My name is Jennifer Johnson, and I'm the owner of JMJ Services. I am, a licensed financial coach, and I help people, manage their finances, create financial plans, empower them, and really, try to win at that money game. I have a passion for helping people, and I have a passion to see people improving their overall well being. So, I'm here to help you all things personal finance.
That is awesome. So, let's get into it. Let's start with my personal favorite. So what I'll do is give you like this little scenario, and then you can kind of give us what we should do. I'm gonna give you the bad scenario, not the bad scenario. I want to say bad. I'm gonna give you the everyday scenario, and I'm sure you can help us with where to move forward. So we just got our paycheck, um, and instead of we have bills to pay, and instead of going straight to the bills, we also have things we want. So what we do is we break the check down, we pay a few bills, and then we take the the other half and do the things we want to do, because we have to have some fun, you know. It's just that I can't just go without when I get my paycheck. And so for me, I haven't really budgeted now. I've just taken care of a little bit because I'm gonna catch up next week. Now, on that, I turn it over to you, Jennifer, to tell us where to go.
Oh my goodness. Wow. 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 I have definitely heard that before. And I am a person that I don't shy, I don't disagree with wanting to enjoy your life, but you have responsibilities. You have things that not only you want to take care of right now, but you got things that you want to take care of in the future. You're not going to be young and vibrant forever. You're going to eventually want to retire. You're going to
Mhm.
eventually want to stop working. So I would recommend, let's get a budget where we can take care of all the bills, and hopefully you can have some left over to kind of do the things that you want to do, because we don't want to ignore that. We don't want to ignore it. We want to be responsible. We want to be financially responsible so that we can set that example and still, have a little bit of the things that we want.
So you said the exact word that I wanted to talk about first, budgeting. Um, Budgeting. How I guess we should say, how does that work? Because I am actually, my scenario wasn't actually me, let me be clear. But I am a budgeter. So for me, with the budgeting, I like to write down all the bills, and put like which week I'm going to pay each bill.
Mhm.
What is the form of budgeting that you recommend? That's what we're going to start with, the recommended budget, because everybody has to have a budget that kind of fits them. But what is like where we start, I guess?
I'm kind of, along the lines of what you said, how you do yours. Basically, take your financial statements for like your bank statements, your spending for the month, and categorize it based on what kind of spending it is, when it's due, and kind of organize it in that fashion, depending on how much income you're bringing in. And that way you can be able to take care of everything and still be able to have a little bit of breathing room if you have the money to do so throughout the month. So
Yeah. With with that, you know, how do we get to the place? I guess I'm trying to kind of direct some questions. How do we get to the place? Because a lot of times, um, you have this budget set up, or you have what you think. So before the whole Excel, which I have now that I go with, I would write all of my bills down on a piece of paper just before I got paid, and then say I need to pay XYZ this week.
mhm.
Um, which is a form of budgeting, but it's not a very organized, that's the word I'm looking for, form of
Mhm.
budgeting. So with I am the person, let's say I'm the person who doesn't even do that. And I come to you and say, Jennifer, I have all of these receipts here. These are things that I pay. Um, how would you start me off with getting myself ready, to get in there? That's kind of what I'm asking about the whole budgeting thing.
That's a great question. Well, first we'll have a heart to heart, and we'll kind of come to an understanding of why you haven't been doing this up to this point, to kind of see where you are mentally, because this whole financial game is not just numbers, it's about your mindset too. And
Right.
so once we get on the same page that creating a budget is something that's helpful for you, then what we're going to do is we're going to sit down and we're going to create um, a general list of all your expenses, your fixed expenses versus your variable expenses. Fixed expenses being like your mortgage or your rent, your gas and electric bill, things that don't change. And then we're going to look at the variable expenses, those things that do vary, like your food bill, your gas bill, things like that. And then once we have that general list, then what we're going to do is We have ideal percentages as far as how much should be you should be spending on each category. Like, for example, housing and debt should be 30% of your income.
Mm,
Living expenses should be 26%. Savings and investments should be about 15. Insurance, meaning like life insurance and other insurance, it should be about 4%, and taxes should be about 25%. So what we'll do is, once we come up with that guide, then we'll look at, okay, what you're actually doing in the month, and then we'll kind of see where the middle ground is, like where there's some tweaking or whatever that needs to be done. But it's all depending on what your motive is to do this. Why do you want to create a budget? Are you trying to save some money to go somewhere? Are you just trying to figure out where all my money is going because I don't seem to have any money at the end of the month? Or or do you
absolutely.
have something else in mind that you're trying to do, and the budget you feel as though is the first start? So it kind of all plays a part in there.
That's interesting because I've never actually heard that way of explaining it. Um, I've never heard someone's calling me while I'm on live, of course. It always has to happen. But yeah, I've never heard the percentages explained to me before, because that is really interesting, because I think for me personally, that might give me just a little better idea with the percentages. Um, the one thing I used to hear is that you want to make sure that one paycheck covers whatever your mortgage or rent is. But that
Mm,
would happen if you're saying 30%, correct?
right. That can't, because one, if you're getting paid twice a month, one paycheck is 50%. And I don't think I think that's a little too heavy if that's your whole mortgage is half of your paycheck. Because how are you going to live on the other 50%? You gotta maintain your house. You need electric, you need all of that, and you got to eat, and you got to take
Right.
care of yourself. And if you have kids, that's a whole nother expense. So I feel like the 30% is more ideal. Yeah, 50 I
Okay.
think is a little too heavy in my personal opinion.
Okay. No, that's good, because how many people have heard what I've heard? So if they've heard what I've heard, it's like they always shy away from um budgeting, because I know that if my rent is a certain amount and my first paycheck and I only get two has to cover the rent, then what am I going to do? Because I'm covering the rent, then, like you said, 50%. So then budgeting really is unattractive now. It loses its appeal
Yeah.
when half of what I get has to go to the rent starting off. And then after it goes to the rent, then the rest of the month, what I'm doing is kind of juggling, you know, who am I going to pay next? Because the rest, so saying your rent or your mortgage should be 30%, that gives you something else to cover the rest of what you have to do for the month. So that was awesome. Thank you. Um Guys, I really hope you're listening. Jennifer, if you see me looking away, it's because I'm doing something different today. I'm trying to tag everybody from my computer since I don't have my phone. So I am definitely listening. Guys, y'all know usually I'll have my phone up in front of me doing the whole tag thing. But today, yeah, we working with it. So moving forward, so our budgeting. So we want to make sure that our household, at least the rent part, or is that the whole household expense that we're trying to do 30% on?
I would say housing and debt. So I would say your mortgage or your rent and any debt payments that you have fall into that 30%. And then your living expenses, I would characterize that as like your gas and your utilities, your food, and all of that, like how you live. I would consider that under living expenses.
Now, a lot of us make this mistake, and I've been one of these people to do the same thing. A lot of us make this mistake, and the mistake is, we start off at the job, we have a certain amount, we learn, or sort of learn, because we don't really learn, and we know we don't learn when this next part happens. We start off at the job, we're working, we're moving forward, and we get a raise. And what we say is, I can spend more. and really look at your eyes. Your eyes are amazing. We say I can spend more because I have more. Not looking at that we spend when we go to spend more, we're not looking at the budget correctly, so we overspend. I've seen it myself and others, friends that I've had. Once we get that raise, we go out and like, I got the raise so I can buy, and the whole budget kind of goes down the drain. How do we what is the best method for getting raises on your job? Because we all want raises, but we don't know what to do with them. Let's be honest.
For raises, I would say it all depends on what your money situation is looking like before you get the raise. Because if you're getting a raise and you're, paycheck to paycheck, or you're at a deficit, which means you're spending more money than you're bringing in, then of course your raise is going to go to whatever line items you're overspending if you can't cut them back, but if you're at a point in your finances where you're doing well, you're not in a deficit, and you get a raise, I would definitely use that to accelerate your savings and your investing, like your retirement savings, your short-term savings. Like I would do it to accelerate that, like, or pay down some debt if you have a really serious debt situation.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's I've seen people go from having a great budget working for them and letting a raise blow the budget. And it happens to a lot of us. Hey guys, if you're looking, it happens to so many of us every day. The raise goes, oh, they gave me say $1,000 raise. That's over a year. So you have to take that $1,000 raise and divide that into the year. So that first paycheck that you get is not a free paycheck. Do we ever get free paychecks? Because I don't think we ever get free paychecks.
Wow.
I hear people say, this is a free paycheck. I don't think we ever get free paychecks. And when they say free paychecks, they're saying we don't have to pay any bills. We don't have to think about, we really don't have to be responsible with this paycheck. One of the ones that I hear called a free paycheck so often is the 5th week, when we have that 3rd check of the month. I hear so many people say, this is a free paycheck, but is it really a free paycheck, Jennifer?
Is it? I don't consider it. That's the first time I've ever heard free paycheck, but I don't consider it. I don't consider any paycheck ever really free from responsibility. Like I personally, like when I make my payments, like say for example, when I make my car payments, they're automatic every 2 weeks. So that extra 3rd pay of the month, that is just, I'm just paying that car note down faster. So that free paycheck, I really feel like is not exactly free, because you know you got things that you should be paying on that you intentionally ignore on a regular pay cycle. So let's have some accountability and let's get those things done. Like, just imagine if you didn't, like, if debt is your issue, if debt is your thorn, just imagine if you didn't have any debt, if you didn't have to owe anybody, could you really possibly have free paychecks?
Right.
But you have to take care of that first. So a free paycheck, if you're in a situation where you got a lot of debt and you live in paycheck to paycheck and you're stressed out, it's not free at all. It definitely has a purpose, and you have to be accountable to what that purpose for it is.
Yeah, you're paying for it with the stress.
Mm-hmm. You are.
Believe it or not, that's the one thing that financial deficit causes is so much stress, because you're stressed about the next thing. So there's never like a free anything. That, let's be honest, it's never a free anything to be, when you have something, and even if you have extra, it's not that this is time to go out and spend.
Right.
It's really, I don't know about anybody else, but you always have something else that you can pay forward before you just splurge and do something. Or if you're saying, I want to go on vacation, that's time to start a vacation fund or something like that. But you gotta budget it. There's never a free paycheck. I don't just blow my money because today I know that tomorrow is coming, so I'm gonna blow it today because tomorrow is coming and it will cover today. Tomorrow has its own bills.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Am I correct,
Yes.
Jennifer? Tomorrow has its own
Absolutely.
bills.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Never feel like, and let me backtrack, because like you said, if you want to take that vacation, that is fine. But you have to make sure you're responsible with the things that you need to be paying for first. And then take that paycheck, if it's an extra, and maybe put it aside so that you can accumulate it. Absolutely. Like it's just that it's simple. It seems simple, Lydia, but it's the emotional attachment that makes it so
Yes.
difficult.
Absolutely. A lot of times you hear people talk about emotional eating, but we rarely talk about emotional spending.
Mm-hmm,
There are a lot of emotional spenders. I don't feel good today. I need something new.
mm-hmm.
And that just blows your budget because I need something new because I don't feel good.
Yeah,
Because today wasn't a good day for me. So something new is going to make the day better. But next week, something new is going to make the day worse because you're going to be stressed about your budget.
yeah,
So it's so amazing to me, even in learning, because I'm still learning about finances. So in learning more and more, it's amazing to me that sometimes that one thing that we put off, they say what you put off today is still there tomorrow.
mm-hmm,
It's like when people get drunk. Once you get away from being drunk, once it's over, the problem is still there. And
mm-hmm.
that finances is always going to be there. It's one of those things that don't go away from us. It just stays with us.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you, Jennifer. Budgeting, guys. Budgeting.
Yes.
All of us. Come on. If you got a phone, use Excel on your phone.
Mm-hmm,
Um,
mm-hmm,
use Excel on your phone. Or they have sheets. I think iPhones have something called
mm-hmm,
sheets. Where
mm-hmm.
you can just kind of keep track of all of your all of your expenses.
Yeah.
Because this is the thing. You gotta know what's coming in and you have to know what's going out. Am I correct?
Absolutely. You should. Yes. And you should not just because you are financially responsible in your household, but you work hard. You work hard. Like, we're talking about active income. We're not even talking about passive or residual. You ain't got to do nothing. Like, we're talking about you go out to work every day and you make this money. You
Yeah.
should want to know where it's going so that your efforts are not wasted, you
Yes.
know?
Yep. That is major. Um, can we talk a little about savings? Because savings is almost a curse word to some people. We don't want to curse at y'all this morning, but we did. But we did because we
Mhm.
want to talk about something really important, savings. Because all of those things like vacations, just a rainy day, all of them are around savings. So can we talk about savings? How do we, with our budget, plan for savings, Jennifer?
How do we, with our budget, how do we plan for savings? Well, obviously, if you've gone through your budget and you have money left over, or you already have it factored into that 15%, factored into your budget, you definitely, and you're responsible with it, you definitely can create a savings plan. And so the first thing I ask people when we talk about savings is, do you have an emergency fund? And a lot of people are like, either they say no or they say, well, what is that? And I say that's like your rainy day fund. You know how people say you're saving for a rainy day? That is your rainy day fund. Like, I look up stats every now and then. I'm a numbers person. And I found that 53% of Americans don't have an emergency fund. So if something happens, if you need a house repair, if you need two new tires, if you have a medical emergency, or God forbid you lose your job, some people are going to be in a dire situation. So that is where your savings should start, is that emergency fund. Now, it's recommended that you should have anywhere between 3 to 6 months of your income saved. Now, I know sometimes that seems like a really large mountain to climb. So a lot of people start with just $1,000, accumulating $1,000. So, as well as how much you accumulate, it's in what vehicle you're accumulating it in. So an emergency fund, we have like bank accounts, we have investment accounts, we have different accounts that you can save your money in. And it really boils down to how fast do you need to use this money, which it means liquidity, like how quickly do you need to turn this over into cash and use it, and what is it that you want to do with it. And that really determines kind of where ideally you should be saving this money. So like an emergency fund, a bank account, that you don't touch, that you don't have access to, take that budget, take that whatever portion of that 15% is that's attributed to this emergency fund, take that in there and put that in there and don't even think about it. Make it automatic. That way that that way you don't even think about it. Just like when we get paid, FICA and Social Security, and for some of us who get our health benefits deducted, they come out before we even see the paycheck, and you don't have time to think about whether or not you should pay this. Like, have that savings automatically taken out and put it into a savings account as well. So that's to start.
That's good, because we do have a lot of other deductions already coming out of our pay. And it's kind of just as easy as you put your bank account in for your check to come to your bank account. You can put your savings account in. Some jobs have even where you can do percentage. So if you want to do 10% or 20% of your check to go to the savings, it'll just go directly there. So do you suggest not having a card to the account where your savings is?
Absolutely.
You said that fast.
Absolutely. Because, I mean, if you got a card, you're going to use it. As much as you say you're not, you're going to use it. And so I would definitely build your savings or your emergency fund in an account that you do not have access to.
So guys, go get that account that you can't, they have those. So the question is, do you suggest like the CD accounts and all those accounts where you really can't just, even if you have a card, you can't go get money directly out of them? It has to stay there for a certain amount of time.
I'm not necessarily a fan of CDs per se, because there's a lot of stipulations, and a lot of them have a minimum of like 3 years, 6 years, 3 months, 6 months, and it's a lot of fees. It's a lot of red tape. So I wouldn't necessarily put it in a CD, but just some type of, I don't know how to say this, I guess just some type of account. There's nothing wrong with a savings account. I mean, you're not looking to grow your money with this particular fund, because this is just money that you need to pull from in an emergency. So just like a savings account, I know I'm an investment professional as well. And so we offer money market fund accounts, which allow for saving for emergency funds and needing to get that money really, really fast and not being really affected by the market. So something like that. I'm all about simplicity. Keeping it simple, like making sure that the client can understand what it is they're doing with their money, and how to what's the word? Like how to take it out if they need it, what it's supposed to do. And so I'm not a fan of CDs. Me personally, I'm just not. I'm just not, because it's too much red tape, it's too many rules, it's too many fees, and it's just too much, And so I would just recommend either a savings account, maybe if you have like a credit union, and you have an account that you don't use, maybe something like that. Or, if you want to open like a money market fund, something like that, maybe you would need to, have somebody pull it out for you when you need it, so you can't just go and get it, something like that I would recommend.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. CDs is the only thing I've heard. I haven't heard about them in a while. They used to say, put your money in the CD. You can get interest on your money, and you can't take it out, so it has to grow because you can't touch it. So, but a money market account, is that how easy, I would ask, is that to do for people who are listening? How easy is it to put your money in and start that account?
Well, I know there are some banks that have money market accounts that you can use it there. If you want, you know, to be like in a actual mutual fund, an actual like investment that's very, the interest is not really up and down and volatile, you could reach out to an investment professional or open a brokerage account that invests in money market funds,
Okay.
because there is a difference between a money market account at a bank and a money market fund that you're investing in. They pretty much do the same thing, but they are two different. They're very low interest. So your principal or the money you put in is pretty much going to be there. You don't have to worry about losing your money if because you're going to be able to you're going to need it. So, yeah.
Um, what is the difference in the, and I'm asking you some questions that we didn't talk about, so
Mhm.
stick, if you can stick with me. What
Mhm.
is the difference in the money market account and the 401k?
Well, 401ks are actually mutual funds, believe it or not.
Right.
Have you, like, I'm not sure if anybody's heard of a mutual fund, but a 401k is like a retirement account.
Right.
The 401k is actually a tax code. It's an IRS tax code that the government created to create an umbrella over people and encouraging people to save money for retirement. And so they put this IRS code over it so that you're not able to take it out without a consequence or paying some kind of tax on it. And so that money you can't use. Like those type of funds you can't use unless you're 59 until you're 59 and a half without being penalized, without paying taxes on it. A money market account is free to use, just like a regular bank account. When you want
Okay.
the money, you just do whatever you need to do to take it out. There's no penalties, there's no taxes. You just take it out. You know what I mean? And so with the 401k also, they have your the money's being taken out like before you get taxed on it, before your like Social Security and FICA and all of that is being taken out along with those deductions, which are considered pre-tax, which means that they haven't been taxed yet. And so, and the point of that is, so when you retire and you have to take that money out, then that's when they tax you. A money market account, that's the money you're putting in there is money that you're taking home, money that the taxes have already been taken out. So they can't tax you again. They can't tax you twice on the same money. So you can kind of have a little more freedom with being able to use that money with no penalties or taxes versus a 401k.
Wow. That was I just learned a whole bunch. Thank you. For real. Because, people talk about saving, but they don't they talk about saving, but this is the first time I've heard of using the money market account. I've heard of them, but I didn't know really what you do with them. So that was like awesome for me. Um so guys, let me say this now. You can contact Jennifer, and I have all her information saved in the closing. I wish I had it saved right here so you can see it. But she's on Facebook at JMJ Services. Is
Mm-hmm.
that correct?
Yes.
And she's on Instagram at Services JMJ.
Yes.
Now, we've only been on about 30 minutes, which is a long time actually, but we've been on about 30 minutes so far. And all the information she shared with us already is like priceless. Please, JMJ Services Facebook. A lot of you guys are on Facebook, Instagram, Services JMJ. You really need to get in touch with this young lady because if she is sharing this much now, imagine if you book a session with her, how much more you are going to get. That's my first plug. We're gonna do a few more as we go along. Anyway, so we have our money market account. We are working on our budget and our savings. Um, so can you talk to us if you are versed in talking about the credit situation while we're doing this?
So I'm going to talk about it from the perspective of debt, credit card
Okay.
debt. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So compound interest is, most people know about compound interest when it comes in terms of investing, of growing their money, but it actually is also taken into account when you have credit card debt, because if you just pay that minimum balance, the interest charges get added each month, and that compound interest just keeps adding and adding to your new balance plus the interest. So it keeps compounding and compounding against you, so
Mhm.
people don't really think about it like that. So debt, I'm not a fan of debt. I understand that in some cases it's necessary, but I'm all about managing your debt and making sure that you are responsible with it. So credit card debt is considered like revolving debt, which means that interest that I just talked about, it compounds daily, which means if you don't pay those balances in full after 30 days, that new balance, including the interest, just compounds and compounds and compounds off of itself. Um, as far as credit, I do believe that there is great use for credit, especially if you have major purchases that you need to buy, such as like homes and maybe vehicles within reason. But I just think you need to understand how it works. I think you need to understand how credit works and understand that, if you can't balance your checkbook, if you don't have a budget, how can you possibly manage $10,000 credit card? A
Mm.
credit card is not free money. You have to pay that bill. You have to pay that bill. And if you don't, it could reflect on you making future major purchases that really, really matter. So that's a little, I talk about debt. We have a system which called debt stacking, which is when we help people kind of pay down their debt.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, that's probably as far as I'll kind of talk about it. The credit, I, I'll probably have to send some links to people
Okay.
who are more specialized than that. So
Well, I love the statement you said. Credit cards are not free money, because a lot of people they do that. The credit card is the lifeline. Not understanding that if you don't pay the lifeline back, it's going to drag you down and drown you. So it's not as much of a lifeline, and it's not free. You have to pay it back. Um, it's interesting because as soon as you're doing good on your credit, you'll find that they start to bombard you with new offers. Oh, let me give you this credit card. Let me give you that credit card. And a lot of young people, especially, get caught in the trap because they're like, oh, well, let me get a credit card. Not understanding that this thing could actually mess up your life if you don't understand the paying it back, and that this is being, like you said, compound. It's just you spent $15 and you're trying to wonder in 5 years where this bad thing is on your credit because you only spent $15. Well, it just kept building, building, building. And that whole free thing, because it seems to be a thing. The free paycheck, now we got free money in the credit card. If I could say this, nothing in life is really free. There is some type of payment that's coming out in everything that you do. So, guys, please, let's forget the free paycheck. The third paycheck of the month is not free. And then credit cards are not free. Are there any other financial things where we can think of that people kind of think that it's just free and easy? Because I know a lot of people think about vacations. That's my free time off. It's not. You're either losing money at work, or you are on salary and you're getting paid anyway, or you're using vacation time. If you're going without one of those three, then you're losing money because you're not at work. And now you got to figure out how to maintain your budget if you don't have savings.
yeah.
Did I miss anything, Jennifer?
Well, just to kind of expound on that a little bit, that's why I think it's so important to introduce to people the idea of earning passive income,
Okay.
because yes, we're working, we're getting to the bag, but we always got to get up in order to get to the bag. Like, and so, like you said, when we go on vacation, we're taking vacation time, or if we're, self-employed, we're not working and we're not making any money, and that's
Yep.
going to have to play catch up. But just think about the idea of having passive streams of income so that you can go on vacation, and it's not going to detriment you when you come back. So I always try to entertain that with the people I sit down with as well. People are at different levels in their journey, because this financial literacy thing is a journey. And so but I always like to make sure that they understand, there are more than one way to skin a cat. We've been taught to work, right? Because that's all we've known. My parents and my grandparents taught me, go to school, get a good education, and get a job and work for 50 years and retire. But now that there's so much more information out there, there's so many other ways. And because of COVID, it spawned a lot of entrepreneurial ideas and different ways that we can be able to create an income, and we may not necessarily have to work 40-50 years. So while I have no problem with that, because that's what my parents did. I try to make sure that when I sit down with families, that they keep an open mind, that look, we can do this. There's different ways we can do this, but you got to be to an understanding that this is what you're going to do if you want to do this. Yes, you can work for 20, 30, 40 years, and if you are satisfied with that, absolutely, we can work with that. We can create a plan around that. But if you're just tired of working and you're just tired of being tired, we can try to figure out a way for you to get that income and build that savings and build that retirement, and you don't necessarily have to work as hard. I always say work smarter and not harder. So
Absolutely. Passive income. Can so and I don't want to get too much into your business side of it, because I want people to call you so that they can get this information directly. Um but I will ask this: what avenues are there of passive income that people haven't thought about? If you can say that without getting into the consultation.
Well, there's mainly two ways of earning passive income. It's having your money work for you or having a business work for you, right? So there's money working for you, like there's like real estate, there's, investments, like stocks and bonds and mutual funds. There's things like that you can have your money work for you. Or, if you're that entrepreneurial type, you can have a business working for you as well, creating a system to where you can earn income without actually being there. So those are like the two general ways of earning passive income. But to be honest, in the beginning, other than like investing in, well, even with investing, you have to put some skin in the game. You have to put something in it, the business. You have to work it until it gets to a point where it's bringing you income. So I don't want people to misunderstand what I'm saying as if, oh, we can just switch this magic switch on and all of a sudden we got passive income coming in. No, there's going to be some work involved in the beginning, but the goal is to work it to a place where now that income comes in without you having to work.
Right. And guys, everything is a process. You know, um, when Jennifer was saying, I was just thinking everything is just a process. Your savings is a process. Your budget is a process. Even even being able to start passive income, it's a process. Nothing happens overnight. And so if someone comes to you with a get rich quick scheme, think about it. Make sure that they have gone through a process, because sometimes get rich quick is just take your money. And it doesn't teach you anything about financial literacy. Let's be honest. If you get money overnight and you're not good with money already, you will not have money by the next day, because you will spend it on something emotional, some emotional spending because you're so happy you got it. Let's be honest. That's how it happens. You're so happy that you have it, you will spend it on something that you probably shouldn't. So, guys, let's really, really work the process. And how do we do that? By calling Miss Jennifer here, hitting up on Facebook, hitting up on Instagram, and uh, getting in touch, making an appointment so that we can actually, if we haven't started the process, so we can start the process, and so that we can get through the process from paycheck to paycheck to actually having some income, a rainy day fund that we can fall back on. Jennifer, I don't know if you would believe it, but we are already 45 minutes in.
Wow. It didn't
It
feel like
happens
it.
really
It was
quick
too much fun.
every time. I told you, good conversation happens really quickly when we're having a great conversation, which this has been a great conversation. Before I end each time, I ask each guest to just share something for people to take away. And so if you would share something, I will give you the full stage. And if you would share something as a takeaway for the audience, I would greatly appreciate that.
Okay. Absolutely. So, our talk today was about financial literacy. And financial literacy is basically knowing and understanding. Knowing and understanding. So there is an educational element that is involved, but not just that. It takes accountability, it takes discipline, it takes a wanting to want better for yourself, to want better for your family and for your community. There's nothing wrong with admitting that you don't know. There's nothing wrong with admitting that you weren't taught. Most of us in our generation weren't taught these things, but now we have the information and we have the tools to be able to win as a people, win as sisters, to take our power back financially. And all it takes is just understanding where you are, having the aspirations to want to be better, and taking those steps to getting better. I am here to empower. I am here to inspire. I've had people pour into me. I've had people inspire me. And it is only right that I continue and I pass it on. So let's get serious, y'all. Let's stop playing around with this money thing. It's too much information out there for us to just be sitting on it and not getting better as a people and not getting better as a community. So let's get started, y'all. Let's get started and let's make some change. All right. That's all I got.
I love it. I love it because you said, let's get. That's a together statement. That means we're going to do this together, guys. She's not leaving you on your own, but she's giving you an option to actually step into a new area, a new arena of, yes, I'm going to do my finances correctly. And the one thing you were saying that is really so true, and not the one thing because that doesn't sound right. Everything you said was true. Okay, so let me rephrase that. What is so true is that this generation, a lot of us did not get to see how to do it the best ways. But now there's so many avenues open to us to teach us about our finances. You know, in church, a lot of times they say, don't miss the altar call. Jesus is there for you, all that good stuff. Well, this was the altar call, guys. Let me tell you what she just made the altar call. Come to Christ right now and learn something about your finances for real. Finances are all a part of our life. How do we live that good life? Is get the information. Get the information. Again, let's contact Miss Jennifer here. Jennifer, I thank you so much. I've learned a lot myself today. So I take notes during these sessions because it's cool to be the host and everything, but it's even better to get the information to help my life as I'm helping someone else. So thank you. This has been amazing. Um, Guys, please, this has been so amazing. If she gave us this much in the last 50 minutes, imagine what will happen when you book your session. When you book your session, you will have the chance to get that one-on-one information about your finances and how just to get to the next level. If you live in paycheck to paycheck, check Miss Jennifer out. If you live in credit card to credit card, because that was a good one. I did, that free money thing, that was a good one because people really think these things are free and none of them are free. Mm-hmm. The only thing that I've seen that's actually been free is a grant. You don't have to pay it back. Mm-hmm. And no one is offering you a grant unless you're in school or doing some type of special event. If you're not doing that, check Jennifer out because it's not free. Okay. But really, honestly, guys, this has been amazing. Jennifer, you are amazing. Thank you so much for sharing with us today. Let me put this up. This is my mom. She said, thank you for the information. Thank you so much for sharing with us today. And for everyone who's listening, look, if you are just coming on, please go back and replay this session. Jennifer gave us such great information about financial literacy and how to come out of the hole. Because that's really what we're doing. We're coming out of the hole. So please check Miss Jennifer out. Again, Facebook, JMJ Services. I'm going to tell you the funny thing, Jennifer. I was trying to remember it and you have it right on the screen. Okay. I was looking like JMJ. And then I looked out. I was like, she has it right there. JMJ Services on Facebook, on Instagram, Services JMJ. And look, before we leave, I want to just do a few announcements and then we're going to end. Let's not forget, Life Happens is coming. Life Happens is our just event that we have every year. We have Life Happens where we have spiritual leaders and mental health professionals come together to share with us and to help us to go to the next level. Along with that, the Survivor Series is back for the whole month of October, where we share with women how to survive and how to live through everything. We don't want to just survive. We want to thrive. And so the Survivor Series is coming back this year. So please don't miss it. Let me put up don't want to forget the things I'm supposed to do. Please check out Life Happens Thrive, October the 21st. Please register. We only have a limited amount of seats. And so we need you guys to register. We want to pack the place out. You can go to Linktree, linktr.ee/HD Productions, and you can register there. Please register today for Life Happens. It's going to be an awesome event as usual. The speakers, oh my gosh, we have such great speakers every year, and this year is just the same. So come out, join us for Life Happens. Again, thank you so much, Miss Jennifer, for coming and speaking with us. And so thank you, Selena. I was trying to say it, but you did it nicely for me. Thank you so much. Life Happens. Again, go to the Linktree and register today. Thank you again, Jennifer. And guys, please check out the Lion's Den next Saturday. We will have Bishop Erwin Schofield will be back again with the second part of his series. So please do not miss the Lion's Den next week. So join us again on the Lioness Den. That's where we are, we the ladies. Join us again next month, third Saturday. No, next month's October. We'll be back the first Saturday of October. See, Jennifer, pray for me. My memory, my phone gone. I don't have my calendar right here in front of me. It's the trying time. Y'all pray for me, all right? But join us first Saturday in October and every Saturday after in the Lioness Den as we talk about the Survivor Series. Thank you, everybody. And we will see you next week on the Lioness Den. Bye-bye.
HDK Productions is proud to announce the highly anticipated Thrive Life Happens Conference, a transformative event that delves into the aspects of life and the human experience. Taking place on Saturday, October 21st. This event offers a diverse lineup of inspirational speakers. Thrive Life Happens Conference is not just an ordinary event, but an immersive experience designed with the whole person in mind. Attendees will gain valuable tools to navigate life's uncertainties with resilience and determination from the following presenters: LaDon Bridges, what is your self-image? Adrian Holloman, Mindset Shift. James Conner, men are simply complicated. Charlie Taylor, I don't have time to die. Cameron and Nia Washington, what are you grieving? Dr. Michael Barnes, Life Happens, Thrive, hosted at the Connect Church of Baltimore. With a state-of-the-art facility committed to creating an empowering atmosphere for all, secure your spot early. HDK Productions is a leader in production dedicated to creating transformative and empowering experiences on digital and in-person platforms. For more information and registration details, visit http://linktr.ee/HDK Productions. Follow HDK Productions on social media for updates.